Sweet Baby Inc. is back front and center in the gaming news. They took a little while off over the summer, letting the likes of Ubisoft and Warner Brothers take center stage, but no, before the end of the year, they've come back to reclaim their crown, and brother, they had a busy weekend. First and foremost, they kicked off a holiday-long weekend, Columbus Day for my friends down south, but Thanksgiving up here in the north, by doing a total redesign on the website. Like, okay, interesting. Like, we seen Square Enix a little while back remove themselves from Sweet Baby Inc.'s affiliation, where it's like, okay, but now they've just decided to get rid of all of their clients. They decided to rebrand themselves, not fully expose their grift. Let's take a look. Sweet Baby Inc. redesigns its website to remove client and game lists, as well as hides its woke agenda. Yeah, of course. But here's the thing. We all know what games you've worked on. We know what companies that you've proudly associated yourself with. And when it's all said and done, it doesn't matter if it's you, Black Girl Gamers, Hit Detection, take your pick, or hell, even in-house DEI bridge policies. It's your fingerprints are going to be felt across the industry, and yeah, as long as your influence is felt, you're still going to get called out for it. Sweet Baby Inc. redesigned its website to remove its client and game lists in an apparent attempt to hide its agenda to potential clients. The website previously made it abundantly clear the company was attempting to inject woke ideology into video games as, with an about section that declared, "Our mission is to tell better, more empathetic stories while diversifying and enriching the video game industry," which we know that's code for, we'll get rid of all of those pesky white guys and we'll just replace them with ugly, uninspired minority females. You'll like that, right? You like that? That's fantastic. We aim to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, more inclusive for everyone. Okay, you could aim to do that. It's just you've missed. So if you were doing this website upgrade to get rid of all of your current clients, and because you have yet to provide any sort of those tangible benefits for any of these companies that you've been contracted by, I would understand, but I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case. It also featured, an outreach section which stated, "New and marginalized talent can change this industry if given the proper support. We want to provide this through our outreach programs," which is just code for, hey, which boxes do you tick on this checklist, and we can go ahead and leverage our influence with a bunch of our other partners, and we can, quote unquote, terrify them into hiring you because you're just so underserved in this industry. You're just not getting the breaks your much more qualified, much more talented white counterparts would. I mean, every single time you get those comparison pictures, like last week we had the Sucker Punch one where you had the Ghost of Tsushima team as opposed to what could potentially be the Ghosts of Yote team, and you can see, marginalized and underrepresented talent is very heavy on one side, and competency is very well represented on the other. Ubisoft, CD Projekt Red, you see it all over the place, and it's one of those things that it's not 100% of the time you know which picture produced or has the capacity to produce a better game, but 99 times out of 100, you already know what time it is. It also listed, various projects the company had worked on, including Alan Wake 2, a game that still has not recouped its production budget. Sable, Battle Shapers, Spooderman 2, same thing with that, but that game also cost $365 million. Ridiculous. God of War Ragnarok, like the lone hit that's on there. Everything else, critically, just fantastic, but commercially, it didn't sell anything, and even still, like Spider-Man 2 on a gameplay side of things, the people that played it thought that it was fine, but even still, like, it was a step down from Spider-Man 1. That's not even factoring in the laughable story, just how short the campaign is, but the mechanics and the gameplay seems to be pretty fun. It's just when you basically have the same game without any of the SBI influence, people are just going to go check that out. Because we've got to a point, right, where, okay, all of these remakes, all of these sequels for these franchises that are on newer hardware, that are taking advantage of the latest and the greatest in the industry, that used to be a big selling point. But I would say that stopped probably the PS3, Xbox 360 era. Kind of gaming in general peaked, because now, you go back a generation, it's like, what's really the difference between a good-looking PS4 and a PS5 game? Not really, given the fact that a lot of the big budget releases still have a last generation option to buy stuff. Like, you can get God of War Ragnarok on PS4. I think now, with the exception of Spider-Man 2, you can get all of those games on PC. And you just take a look at, most people's Steam catalog. Yeah, they have games that you can still play, and games that are still getting played that are a decade old. How many people right now are currently playing Skyrim at any given point in time? 5 digits worth of people for a game that came out November 11th, 2011. That's why now, with all of these consultancy companies coming in and subverting the industry, it's like, yeah, you can go ahead and you can ruin somebody's favorite franchise, okay? If one of these companies came in real hard and started to ruin Final Fantasy for me, it's like, oh man, that sucks ass. But it's like, there's how many great games, even just, sticking to mainline ones that I haven't played. Like I can go back and I can experience 5 through 1 if I'm so inclined. It's just, if they had their fingers in anything, I would imagine, in the previous releases, like if it came out in that form or fashion, I would imagine that, Final Fantasy 13 probably had some consultancy company work on it, or maybe they were just all that incompetent during that time. Anyways, furthermore, the company also shared a client list that included Xbox Game Studios, yes, Electronic Arts, Valve, True Love, Santa Monica Studio. You remember, okay? I've showed you this before, and yeah, the last time we seen that was when Square Enix was on it, and then it was off it. It's kind of strange, right? Okay, these sections have all been removed and replaced. Now the company describes itself as an award-winning team of writers because, yeah, best game narrative of last year at the Game Awards was won by Alan Wake 2. Even though it was just a self-aggrandizing pat on the back for the race-swapped main character. Spoiler, it's not Alan Wake. And narrative designers who help make stories better. You make those statements, but how do you do this? It's amazing, right? We're a consultancy company, but what do you consult on? Stories. Well, how do you make them better? By giving notes. Okay. But yes, with over 30 games shipped from AAA, indie, and solo developers, we are not just contractors, we're storytellers who can take your project to the next level. It's also funny, because over the past year, they were trying to say, we're just a consultancy company, we don't do anything like that, but now they're just giving up the ghost, even though they try to think that they're being real slick about getting rid of every game and every company that they worked with and worked on. Now they're out here saying, oh yeah, no, we do work on stories, we do work on characters. It's like, yeah, we know, it was all over your website. That is now since been scrubbed. Then lists various services it's provided, including script writing, consultation, and authenticity and sensitivity. It's like, bro, okay, yeah, if you're gonna finally admit, it's like, okay, here's what we do, here's what you can hire us for. It's like script writing. Okay, that makes sense. Consultation for what exactly? That's just what, general services. Like, okay, but then authenticity and sensitivity, like, oh, that's the real grift aspect. Makes sense. Under script writing, it states, we work within the scope to cover all your script writing needs, from cinematics to dialogue. Yeah, because you guys are just so great at doing the dialogue part, to naming 500 pieces of armor. Oh, is it people like this that are responsible for the awful looking armor that you'd see in productions like Rings of Power? Oh, okay, cool. We know every word counts. That's why you just waste everybody's time with horrific dialogue that you can find in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Yeah, fantastic. But that's not the only change that Sweet Baby Inc. underwent over this past weekend. According to reports and looking at social media bios, I guess they're just trying to piece a bunch of stuff together. Somebody actually got fired from this place. Very interesting. Sweet Baby Inc. fired Chris Kindred. Now that's a name we haven't heard in months, but it is somebody who attempted to cancel Brazilian gamer, yes, and founder of the DEI detected website and SBI detected Steam group Kabrutus, yes. I thought Kindred also was a part of this stupidity in the wake of the death of Akira Toriyama earlier this year. I'm pretty sure that was the case too. Sweet Baby Inc. has allegedly fired Chris Kindred, the employee who attempted to cancel Brazilian gamer Kabrutus Rambo after he created the SBI detected Steam curator list. According to ex-user Master of the TDS, the host of Gothic Therapy, an inside source informed him that Kiss Kindred was fired by Sweet Baby Inc. Oh no! Master of the TDS's wife and Gothic Therapy co-host Writing Raven declared on the above video, "We have an insider at Sweet Baby Inc. that Kiss Kindred has been fired." Chris The person who started the campaign against Kabrutus to get his account removed and to get the Sweet Baby Inc. detected group removed has been quietly pushed out of Sweet Baby Inc. Oh no, that's so sad because they were so talented at doing what exactly? Yeah, no idea. From what I do know, apparently a lot of people involved with Sweet Baby Inc. were very angry at what Chris had did, really raising their profile a little bit too much. It's like, we had a good thing going here, okay? We were operating in the shadows. Everybody was fine with what we were doing. We were fine, and then you messed it all up, Chris. So there had to be many calls to Kim Belair and other people in charge to get him removed, and they were successful. However, to the annoyance of my source, they have not released any information publicly, so I was given the go-ahead to break it down here. Yeah, because I've also seen some screenshots from Twitter bios and stuff where it's now saying previously, you know, worked at Sweet Baby Inc. So that's, I guess, a little bit of a victory, but when it's all said and done, who were all the calls getting placed in order to make the move to get rid of Chris? All right, that's going to Kim Belair, the origin point of all of this cancer. So this company is still as rotten to the core because Chris, oh, you were just a useful idiot. You're easily replaceable because this ideology, this victimhood ideology, oh, it breeds weaker minds to just come along and take the place of the disposable. That's why until this entire ecosystem, until this entire rift economy is destroyed, doesn't matter how these interchangeable pieces are moved around. There's a rot at the bottom of this. It's a weed in the garden of gaming, and you got to rip it out by the roots, because this is what they're all thinking. It's just Kim Belair, once again, is stupid enough to vocalize it. Sweet Baby Inc. CEO Kim Belair reflects on company backlash, says anti-DEI critics are coming together under the rallying cry of far-right supremacy. Yeah, this is just like stupid Amanda Stenberg, you know, the quote-unquote star from the Acolyte saying, oh yeah, from the moment that our project was announced, we got hit with like a hyper-conservative, like ultra-right-wing, like vitriol and stuff. It's great and all, and they just always, because it was for the longest time, right? Like it was, oh, it's a big alt-right thing, and now all of a sudden you just think by saying that it's far right now, you're updating your programming. Is this the new NPC update that we're going with? It's just far right, and it's like, at this point in time, bro, we see what you're all about, and frankly, the fact that you're calling, you know, you're labeling another group, we see what you're doing, and you know what? Just by virtue of what you're up to, let's go over with, you know, your perceived enemy, because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yes, in the opinion of company CEO Kim Belair, who was definitely not the inspiration for the brand new Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League character, you know, the Zoe Lawless, well, Lawless is her name, but the Zoe Lawton, the race-swapped daughter of a race-swapped Deadshot. Yeah, make that one make sense. It's funny how they want to have, you know, racial consistency for an Elseworlds multiverse character. But if it was like, I don't know, Captain Boomerang's kid, oh, you bet your ass it would be some sort of photo-negative variation. But in the opinion of company CEO Kim Belair, not only has the ongoing discourse surrounding the work of Sweet Baby Inc. amounted to nothing more than a campaign of harassment. Right, you know, when you're really bad at your job and people pick up at how bad at your job you are and what you're actually thinking and how you think of the customers, the ultimate consumer of the products that you're working on, and you have a general level of contempt and hatred for them, it's a campaign of harassment if they're just asking you to do your job. Makes sense. But its critics' oppositions to the concept of corporate-style diversity, equity, and inclusion as an indicator of their far-right ideals. Yeah, exactly, because for so long, we got away with this shit, right? Like, we used to say that we're black and we're females and we've just been held out of these positions of power for long enough, and now that we've seen them take these reins of power, and what have they done with it? Ruined everything. Now that people are going, yeah, I don't really think so. Like, there's been people hip to this crap for a long time, you know, realizing victim cards as they're being played. But normies, now they're starting to get hip to this stuff. And that's why they're having to update their rhetoric a little bit. It's just, here's the thing. Aren't that smart. Can't really think on their feet that much because they're all drawn from really old handbooks like late 90s, early 2000s intersectionality, and then even further back than that with more radical feminist tomes and drawn on Marxist, communist inspiration. Your postmodernist crap written by a bunch of French intellectuals sat in a room simping over some Parisian 4 back in the cut. They all draw from the exact same playbook. because they were never taught how to think, just what to think. Ergo, they can't adapt on the fly. That's why whenever the new marching orders come out, that's why people say, oh, what's the new NPC update? Because they all adopt the same terminology, because they all drink from the same well. Belair offered her take on the situation while hosting a keynote panel at the recent 2024 edition of the XOXO Festival, which per its official website is an experimental festival celebrating independent artists and creators working on the internet. Yeah, whatever. Those various speakers typically discuss the emotional experience of us. This is just a big bitch fest. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And making things online with difficult subjects, including financial insecurity, anxiety, depression, mental health, imposter syndrome, burnout, racism, sexism, and online harassment. Yet one of the most predatory companies in all of gaming, you decided to give your keynote address to the CEO of that, somebody who leverages and tries to blackmail. Just take a look at Game Science, the developers behind Black Myth Wukong, who exposed the $7 million extortion racket they were trying to leverage against them. Proof of that, so you already know what kind of conference this is. Taking the stage on Saturday, August 24th, the CEO specifically centered her panel on the aforementioned wave of criticism and discussion currently being leveled towards, well, that should be one word, Sweet Baby Inc., in particular her and her team's experience in attempting to weather the storm. Hello, I'm Kim Belair. Boo! In my circles, I'm largely considered, I think, a relatively nice person. These are my dogs. Oh my god, these are my cats. Hag and Grey Boy, which is apparently an anti-white racist term or something like that. It's like, okay, cool. Growing up, my sister got 2 black cats, and she named one, and I gave another a name, and well, they're long since gone, but she named one Midnight, and I named the other one Jamal. So I don't really take offense to that, but a lot of people are pointing out, it's like, oh my god, admitted racist is a racist in naming her pet. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. Would have been more shocked if she said, yeah, and I'm also in a happy relationship, and here's my husband. I really enjoy Lego. There's also a lot of playing video games, including Elden Ring. Yeah, so just a bunch of nonsense. By day, she then joked, I'm crazy CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., the DEI-obsessed censorship mafia, who is currently ruining and wokeifying all of video games that you've never even played. Oh, that you've never ever played. Yeah, that's kind of the problem, but then at the same time, you have worked on some of the bigger titles over the past couple of years, so yeah, anyways, if you haven't heard of Sweet Baby, you're supposed to be given a keynote for an entire convention, but you're making this all about your own personal struggle. Interesting. I'd imagine she probably titled a speech, My Struggle. She then continued. You've either heard of us from those wonderful gamers we've worked on, or perhaps you're familiar with the nearly year-long hate campaign that has been waged against us as a team. Unfortunately, today, I'm here to talk about that. In a talk I'm going to call What Happens When You Get Harassed, a sweet baby story. Harassed or just called to task? Harassed or just asked what exactly you do? What exactly have you contributed to Spider-Man 2? What exactly did you contribute to God of War Ragnarok, Alan Wake 2, or any of those other nameless, faceless, failed indie products? Tales of Kenzara Zhao chiefly comes to mind, and this hate campaign that really kicked off with the admitted $200 million disaster that was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But oh no, help me, I'm in so much pain. All of those gamers out there, they're liars. Nobody's gonna get that reference, but I do, and it's funny to me. The thing is, even just by that thumbnail, you're looking way too happy talking about yourself and your little company that's getting dogpiled online. Mostly because you love the attention. You're stuck in the model of any publicity is good publicity, but we can see the numbers and we can see the sales totals of all of the games and all of the companies that you've worked on, and we can also put 2 and 2 together and realize that, yeah, even incidental, you working on these projects, there was a steep drop-off. Right, because a lot of people started to get hip to SBI with Alan Wake 2 at the end of 2023, going, well, what the hell happened there? Because there was a pretty good run of consistent writing in this franchise, and then all of a sudden, Alan Wake 2 takes a big old dump. Something's off here. And then, of course, Suicide Squad earlier this year, where that game was a total disaster from a mechanics to a writing standpoint. Everything was off on that one. But all of that work was already done prior to the harassment campaign that was out there. So now it's just simply people knowing what you do, or at least what you're a part of, and saying, nah, we're good. And also raising the alarm, speaking with their wallets, and staying away from the products that you and your ilk are working on. Yeah, man. Try to make yourself a little internet star like Alyssa Mercante. Realize that in the short term, yep, you will be out there. People will know the name Kim Belair, but just give it some time. Give it some time. You'll go from being at the top of the industry to quickly being regarded in the same breath as Anita Sarkeesian, begging for work after throwing yourself a wedding-themed 40th birthday party. Glad you like your cats and dogs. That's about the only things that like you in the wider gaming industry. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.